Hello, all you suicide warriors. Dan Pelly here, inspirational speaker, suicide warrior. The topic of this video is inspiration. I'm a two-time attempted suicide survivor. I'm not proud of it. It was devastating, and I'm lucky to be here, blessed and grateful. 1996 was my first attempt, and again in 2010. 1996, devastating divorce. Loss of a business, moved, started suffering with depression, turned clinical depression, suicide ideation for 8 months. It wasn't an immediate reaction. It just agonizing. Should I or shouldn't I? It was the most horrific thing. Depression, clinical depression is a wretched animal, and I'm lucky to be alive. Then I said never again, but never say never again when it comes to depression, especially clinical depression, because it's just like an 800-pound gorilla on your back, which I've said before. And fast forward 14 years later, started raising 3 stepkids, remarried. My 16-year-old daughter I raised since she was 7, was a passenger in a vehicle, almost got killed. 5 kids in the car, she took the worst. Took a traumatic brain injury, had to open her head up, 48 days in IC, 8 months, recovering, got her back on her feet. The mother was a champion for her daughter. And it was just the most horrific thing and rocked the family, got her back on her feet. I happened to write a 33-page program where I met my wife with the kids and about suicide prevention. And I never got her off the ground, and I was just feeling like I'm not doing what I should be doing. After she got back on her feet, I started suffering depression again in 08, 09. And a friend of mine, said you need to meet a male figure in this Buddhist practice. So I met a male figure because I was always talking to her about the Buddhist practice, but I never practiced. And I joined the SGI, and it was the best thing I ever did for myself. And the SGI and the members and the diversity, and President Cater is my mentor. He passed a few years back at 95 years old. And it was inspiring me to keep fighting. And this is, while I'm suffering, I'm practicing. And then I attempted while I was practicing, and I'm like, why? I'm practicing, this should be helping me. And no, the devilish functions don't want you to do what you're probably gonna do in your life. They see something good coming. Little did I know that I wouldn't even be doing videos. I was like, yeah, sure, I'm not gonna do anything like that. But they said, keep practicing, and I was on like 4 medications, and just to try to balance myself out. Started seeing a therapist, and he said, you should go to a recovery program. So he inspired me to go to a recovery program. So I dragged myself there for 6 months. I've seen so many people that were worse off, and I was bad enough. I couldn't even walk 5 flights of stairs. I was physically depleted. Inspiration was the last thing on my mind. Nothing was inspiring me. So I went to that program, and I forced myself to go, and took the elevator, and I said, I'm gonna walk these 5 flights someday. And I was just so weak and depleted. It was just ravaging me. The depression, once again, it just depletes you. And medication was helping, and I said, I gotta keep chanting, and I'm chanting, and I said, I wanna be off medication in a year by December of 11. So I chanted for that. I started weaning off each medication with the doctor's advice and the therapist's advice, which I recommend. If you need something to keep you safe, you should be talking to somebody, and call the 988 number they have now. They'll direct you to people that can help you. You gotta reach out. You gotta take action, whether you're inspired or not, and nothing's inspiring you, you still gotta almost force yourself to get help. And that's what I did. So it came to the point where I just couldn't believe I went back. And I was ashamed, and the guilt, and I just kept going after it and dragging myself to meetings, and my head down in the back of a meeting, and not talking like this. A real estate person all my life, I was on stage being an MC for my brother's Elvis tribute that he did for years. You know, I said, why can't I do this? Why can't I make a video? So by the end of December of 11, I was med free. And I could feel my feelings again. You know, you kind of get numb on the medication, but if you need it, you got to be on it. And so I was med free, and I started, you know, my life condition started rising, and I was chanting for a higher life condition. And they asked me to give my experience by October of 12 at the Florida Nature Culture Center with the SGI. And I gave my experience in front of 150 men, and this was back in 2012. I still wasn't making videos, and said I wanted to do videos, and got a lot of these people coming up to me about people that had attempted suicide, people they lost to suicide, you know, things, and all these people coming up to me. So I might be onto something here. There's all these years have gone by, but it's still with all the shame and the stigma of the guilt that I was suffering with such a disease of depression. And it's not about cowardness or weakness or anything. And I want to talk about what inspired me besides my Buddhist practice, my daughter recovering, all these things that happen in your life. And it just, I said, where am I going to find this inspiration? And I was a co-author on Feeling Worthy. People know that I was a co-author for the first time, Feeling Worthy. And Mari's now doing another book called Living by Inspiration. I said, well, that's ironic. My next video is going to be about inspiration. So I'm going to talk about things that inspire me. And then I want you to comment and let me know what inspires you and how do you live by inspiration. So I get my inspiration from many factors, you know. It could be from people that were suffering, my own daughter, Christopher Reeves, all the people you see suffering out there, the resilience, people that were born with no arms, no legs, and they're out there inspiring people. And, you know, many people are out there, and there's a lot of suicide advocacy going on, and they're great people that have their own suicide attempts, and they're advocating to help people, you know, to stay alive and choose life. So I was getting all this inspiration, you know, from all these areas, and, you know, motivational speakers, inspirational speakers. And I said, but I'm still not making my videos. It took me another 4 years because the shame and guilt was so heavy that I wasn't making it. And then come 2016, I chanted at 3 a.m. I said, I gotta make a video. And it was about never give up. It's a little rusty, but I made it. And I've been making videos since. I've been speaking to people publicly. And 10 years later, I'm just so grateful. I have many followers. I'm all over social media under Dan Pelly, from TikTok to Rumble to Parler to Truth to Facebook, you know, Instagram. You can follow me on all these places. YouTube, if you subscribe, it's free. It helps the cause, you know, if you can like and subscribe and share. We all know somebody that's suffering with depression, you know, probably 90% of us. So when you can share with other people, and, you know, we become, you know, we're human beings. We're selfish in a lot of ways, you know. We want to take care of ourselves, and you got to become a little selfless, you know. And so the things that inspire me, you know, to get up every day, and one is to make videos and to help people. And I still do my real estate, but I go into a lot of homes, and I see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And, you know, I was in a home the other day, and the guy was all by himself, lost his wife from multiple sclerosis. She was only 38. He was an older gentleman now, but very subdued, very quiet. You could tell he was suffering. So I did the inspection. I did what I had to do with him. And I said, you know, I'm going to talk to him a little bit. And I started asking him about his pictures on the wall, his wife, his kid, his cat. And all of a sudden he started opening up, and I could see a little bit of, he was inspired that someone was taking some time to talk to him. And like President Cater says, we lost our mentor, you know, a few years back. And he was 95 years old, but he always said it's out of all the inspiration in the 12 million members that chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo in the SGI, 192 countries, he always talked about that person right in front of you is the most important person. and show them that they're important. And that's how you create connections and help people, which is our mission of Kosarufu, to help people overcome their suffering and become happy. We were born to be happy. We were born to suffer, although the evilness in this world and the things that we deal with and all the tragedy, it can be very depleting and very depressing, and you're not inspired. And then you hear these wonderful stories of inspiration, and it gives you some kind of feeling of, oh, I have hope. Like Christopher Reeve wanted to commit suicide, and he said he created hope. And President Cater talks about we have to create hope. We have to create inspiration too. So no matter how many people you listen to, me, anybody, we have to inspire ourselves from within. And I started realizing this more and more through the years, that the inspiration comes from within. And it really starts with loving yourself and caring for yourself and being okay with you and feel worthy, that you are worthy. Your life does matter. You matter. The person on the other side that's suffering, that's listening to me, you matter. I didn't think I mattered when I was suffering, because when you're depressed, you don't feel like you matter. But you do. And if you don't give up, there's victories on the other side. So these types of things were starting to come together for me, that no matter how much I do or what I do to get out of bed and what it takes for you to get out of bed, that what's going to inspire you, kids, your job, whatever is working for you to get you out of bed. But then when the kids get older and they have their own life and they have their own issues, things start happening. You start, you get divorced or whatever's going on, and you're alone. You have to inspire yourself. And I'll be honest, past couple of months, I didn't have a lot of inspiration. Not that I was depressed, but I was struggling to get up, go to do my real estate, keep putting clips up, keep putting encouragement up, but not making another video. I was kind of deadlocked. And then it came to a point where I started saying, I have to find this inspiration within me to push through any darkness, and push through and make this video and other videos I'm going to make. So the book that's coming up is called Living by Inspiration. I'm going to co-author in that. And it was ironic because I was making this video, as I said. And what does it take to live by inspiration? I want to hear what it takes for you. How do you live by inspiration? Comment, tell me. What inspires you? Because inspiration and creating hope and inspiring or creating something, you have a special talent. We all have this special talent that we have to find and we have to unlock. And pushing the heavy doors of life open is never easy, right? So we can really, be negative and really start, hurting ourselves. So I'm just going to check my time real quick. And so as we live by inspiration, hey, we're not going to be inspired every day. It's just impossible. We're human. But then all of a sudden I'm out and when I'm talking to that gentleman in his home, or I see someone at a counter, and I'm rushing around, and we have a selfish nature, it's not a bad thing, we got to take care of ourselves. But to take a moment and look at somebody and smile and ask them how they're doing, and you get a smile back and you inspire that person to react to you and say, yeah, I'm doing okay, and how's things? And you try to have a conversation with somebody, but we're so in a hurry to, get things right or do things that we're supposed to do, we forget about the human connection. Of course, the internet, when it came out years ago, I said, this is a blessing, and it's also going to be a curse. And AI is the same thing. But we have to stay grounded. We have to stay grounded in loving ourselves, because once you love yourself and light your own heart inside that life is worth living, I am going to choose life today again and again and again. I'm going to choose life, and I'm not going to give up. That helps you help other people. When you light a lamp for another, light yours. So that's how I see a lot of this inspiration going on, that because we get encouraged and we go to seminars and we do this, and we hear a speaker, or well, yeah, go. Hey, look, we're not going to get out of bed every day going, yeah, I'm inspired. Yeah, I'm ready to go every day. And it becomes to the point where a little bit comes in at a time. And every day it starts coming at you. And you start opening your eyes to other people. Because when you start recognizing other people's sufferings and all the sufferings that are going on, then it gets to a point where you know that I'm not alone. You're not alone. We're all suffering. The person with all the money in the world, the person with no money, and the people that are suffering the most inspire me the most. Not the ones that are successful, but they're suffering too. The surface of things, we don't see the suffering going on with everybody. We don't, you just don't know what's happening with a person. Like someone's fighting a battle you know nothing about. So you got to be kind, you got to do your best to be patient with people, and you learn these things as you continue to get older. But now, and I'm making this video and I'm saying, how am I going to inspire you to choose life? I'm living proof. I'm a 2-time attempted suicide survivor. I'm lucky to be here to speak to others. And I have a lot of people that I've helped. I've lost people that have been close to me. We're not going to be able to save everybody. Everybody's made up differently. We know the dark demons late at night that are haunting people, but I think we can save a lot of people. We might not save everybody, but we can help a lot of people. And I'm not into this for the money. I make money in real estate. It's not about the monetary for me. It's about the inspiration in my heart to help someone that's suffering. Because I know I've been on that dark side twice. In that darkness, some people never get to that point where they want to end their life and die by suicide. Sometimes it happens spontaneously, sometimes it takes years, but I was in that dark moment twice, and it's a place you never want to be. Everything is just closed in on you, and nothing's inspiring you, and you feel like you have nothing to live for. But you do have something to live for. You got to live for you first before you can live for anybody else. So every day I wake up, and if I feel like I'm not feeling my best, you're going to be okay, Dan. It's okay. Give yourself a hug. Love yourself. It starts there. Because inner love, and that becomes inner inspiration. And you start feeling, okay, I'm not going to maybe conquer the world today, but you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to make a difference with somebody today. Whether it's that older gentleman I saw in the house, or it's that person I saw at the counter, and everybody that I see every day, or anybody I'm talking to across from the video here that's suffering right now, that you matter. Don't give up. It's okay. We all suffer. It's something we all deal with. But when we keep moving forward and keep moving and do a short list, get up and wash, get up and eat, I call it the short list, and you'll find yourself moving along more and more, and you'll find yourself feeling better at times and saying, life's not too bad. We were born to be happy. We weren't born to suffer. And as we continue on our day-to-day life, I'm just checking my time, getting about close to being finished. But I think the biggest thing of all, I want to hear about, how do you live by inspiration? What inspires you every day? When that book comes out, Living by Inspiration, I'm going to be talking about all the things that inspire me. I just touched on a few things today and what was happening in my life. I want to know what's happening in your life, and share anybody that's suffering, that might help them to see that you can overcome, you can survive, and you can live a good life, and you can be happy. So I'm going to end with that. But I want to do my chant for you. that I chant for everybody. Your good health, your protection, your wisdom, your compassion, your courage, your determination, your mission, your happiness, your family, your good fortune, hope, and total victory. I'm Dan Pelly, inspirational speaker, and I'll see you on the next video. Stay inspired.